Okay, I really don't know how this playback is going to be. But someone sent me the clip from over there. And I have some questions. And before I do anything, I'm going to get to the bottom of it. But first, I want to play what Starlight said, and I want to comment on it. I don't know if I can stop this or not as it's going. Let's see. Okay.
The way that we were basically introduced to this woman, if you want to call her that, was because she was going after this other guy on YouTube who's, he's going to come for me just for mentioning this.
Okay, right there. He's going to come for me just for mentioning this. Okay, we're going to go back to that. But I caught that right off the bat.
He has a child who murdered a child. And she inserted herself into that family's drama.
She absolutely did not insert herself into that family's drama. And what we were doing is Tracy and I fought over the Darlie Routier case, 1996, out of Texas. She killed her 2 little boys, and she's on death row. Tracy does not support the conviction of Darlie Routier. And for a long time there on YouTube, I put up very damaging videos that showed her guilt. Tracy supported her, and she knew the family of Darlie Routier, and so we fought over that. Then, and I also did like the Cooper Harris case. I had some really good cases, and I was really good with the Darlie Routier case. I got a lot of views. I got a lot of attention. I put out some very good videos with evidence about Darlie Routier's guilt. That channel no longer exists. And Tracy, as a supporter of Darlie, we would bicker and fight about that. Okay? So then, in the midst of all that, my son did what he did. And I'm well known for this case and some other cases that involve children. So here's my son that did this to a child. Of course, as Darlie supporters, all of them were coming at me, starting groups. Tracy was in the groups, but she was not coming at me about my son's case like you would think. My very first post, when I knew it hit the news, I was like, he did it. I know he did it. Then blah, blah, blah. And stop. That's it. My son's guilty and he did it. He deserves everything he gets. Fuck that. Blah, blah, blah. Let him rot under the jail. I was mad. My first initial thoughts were, I was ripped that he did it. And Tracy, even as a Darlie supporter, even though they banded together and they were ripping me apart for it because my son did this, Tracy was not a major part of that. She's like, you've been talking all this shit about Darlie, now what about you? Okay, and I can understand that. But she was not coming at me about my son's case. Tracy messaged me as a Darlie supporter, and she was like, hey, you can't be putting things about him being guilty out there. You can hurt his case. And she was correct. All right. So Tracy did not insert herself into the family drama. She was not a part of those Facebook pages that were up. She was not a part of people. And I got a harassing email from that page tonight because they heard me talking about the case. All right. But she was not a part of that. There's other people that are on here that were a part of that. There's other trolls that are floating around here that were a part of that. I still get harassed to this day for something that my son did. And they're going to claim I did this and I did that. They can kiss my ass. They always say, see you soon. We've got video. And they never. They can put a video up. But everything that they've tried to make it look like I did, I've already disproven. And we've already had someone that was from that page. I can say from that page. That knew what was going on with that page. And probably knew some of the people that were involved in it. Come up and said that these things are fake. They were fake. Well, we've already had that. And the people that support me know that because they saw it. All right. So she did not insert it, and Starlight knows that we were fighting over their Darley case. Not that we were fighting over my son's case. She knows that. They would say, "Oh, let's not talk about Darley Routier," and blah blah blah, and obsessed with. They were calling Tracy obsessed with Darley Routier. Tracy, look, when I came at Tracy about her son, right? That's the only time that she ever retorted to me about my son. She never mentioned it. Now, granted, she still stayed a Darley supporter while they were doing this. Because she supports Darley Routier. So that's misinformation. And I believe that Starlight knows this. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go look back through our text and see if she's talking about Tracy being obsessed with Darley. Because Tracy never came on YouTube and came at me about my son. Never. On Facebook, she didn't say anything rude to me about my son. She never. Never once. She was in the group because the Darley supporters are in that group when they were talking about Braden. It was all Darley supporters, every one of them. I've got screenshots. I've got screenshots of where Tracy's trying to mediate that shit. Okay, so for her to get up there and say that it was because of my son's case that me and Tracy are fighting is absolutely 100% incorrect. And I think she knows that. There is one person on here that I talked to now that did come at me about my son's case. And she knows who she is. And that's all water under the bridge to me at this point. But as far as those people that have harassed this family and gave me call us baby killers, and you better watch your daughter when she walks out of the house, all that, that's not Tracy. Tracy's only had one thing that I can recall smart to say to me about my son. And that's when we got into it about parenting and arguing, and her son had a little trouble back then, and I threw it in her face. So I got it back, and I deserved it. And it even wasn't that bad. Well, look at your son, she said. He's in prison for killing a child. Something like that. Something minimal. Something that I deserved. You know? So I let that stop there, and let's go. And it goes over again.
Real life drama. And this all started on Facebook, and then it carried over onto YouTube.
On Facebook, it was Darley Routier. I've still got 2 groups up that I run with the Darley Routier case over there. I also have a Remembering Travis Alexander case over there. And I can only say this, that Tracy was in it. She was in the group. She was involved with the group of people. Well, she knew a group of people that supported Darley Routier that just loved the fact that I'm speaking out about this guilt on this woman. And then this happened in my life. She was a member of that group, but not the ones that were coming at me were the ones that started the Justice for Braden groups over there. And Tracy was not an admin. And of course, she's going to go where her friends go. Just like Hello Starlight did to FOD after she sent CPS to my house. She would sit in there, but she was not a part of the bickering. And she did try to mediate some stuff. She really did. Tracy was the one who encouraged me to just go ahead and get the records and put the case up. Tracy was also a little bit upset with the mother because there was an order to keep my son away because they thought he was doing something in the first place, and she didn't. So, no. She was reasonable about the fact that my son got caught up in some bullshit. She never attacked me for it. Never. She never attacked me for that. Now, we would fight over that Darley case. As a matter of fact, I put up a video about Darley the other day. Right? And Tracy's under there going, oh, you got other stuff to worry about, being sick, you know. Because we don't agree on it when it comes to that case. And that's a very personal case. There's kids involved. But that's why.
So Tracy, this is what she does. She inserts herself. Did you hear her on my panel yesterday? Save the baby.
No, I didn't listen to it yet.
I'm going to let it play again.
The way
She's thinking about it.
that we were basically introduced to this woman, if you want to call her that, was because she was going after this other guy on YouTube, he's going to come.
She was not going after me. We were arguing about a case, and they knew that the case that we were arguing about was Darlie Routier. And my response is, now, this is what I'm looking for now. Give her the benefit of the doubt, but she knows that that information is incorrect. She knows that it was over the Darlie case, and Tracy never came at me about my son. She could have. She might have should have, because I was nasty to her. She caught cancer, and me and her were arguing, and I told her I hope that cancer ate her from the crotch up. And I still didn't get nothing rude about my son. She's got thick skin.
For me, just for mentioning this.
Just for mentioning this, because she knows that that's not why that Tracy didn't do that. Now, if Coop spoke on that afterwards, it's only because it was brought to her attention by Starlight. Right? I don't care if they go over the case. If they want to, good. But I mean, usually for me, I like to look at cases that are unsolved, or I think somebody wrongfully convicted, or people are pushing for that person to be out when there's reasonable proof that they should still be in. Okay? So she can run that. My name shouldn't even be brought up there because I'm not trashing Natasha Cooper. I do have an opinion about what she had to say. Right? I get this old shitty ass email after I was up there talking about it. You know, from that family or whoever it is that's been harassing us for 6 years. This is what really pisses me off when somebody says, you harassed that family, because that's not what happened. I get it. People have seen it on here. How they'll come after me. Like if I'm in a drama community and I'm showing facts and showing receipts about a drama issue, and well, your son, Molly did it. Well, your son did this. Your son, your kid's a baby killer. Okay. And he's locked up for that, and that's what he gets. People don't want to talk about my other kids, how they came out pretty well. So no, that's not gonna work. But Cooper's, I do believe that Cooper spoke on it after Starlight mentioned it, and it was in her chat. Somebody said, "Well, you should do this." Get Ryan St. His name is BryanSt.John. It's national news. You can look it up. You can also look up the clip where I was on the news about it, and that'll tell you. I said, if my son did this, then that's exactly what he deserves. Period. But, my son looks exactly like me. So, I can understand the family being angry and needing to lash out. And I could have understood that for a little while when it first happened. But it's been 6 years. They want somebody to be the bad guy. See, Luke is untouchable to them. He's in prison. He's untouchable. They can't make up little shit about him and get an argument with him on social media. They can't do that. Further investigation is needed.